Hey everybody. Seriously, I should have thought this whole project through. I should have analyzed every aspect of grammar before I dove into creating a Creole with no purpose other than to entertain myself and maybe get a couple YouTube followers. This will be by far my most complicated video, grammar-wise, and I hope I don't lose you along the way. It's not too difficult, but you could get maybe a little overwhelmed with what I'm going to show you here. I'm really proud of this discovery because it truly demonstrates how grammar builds on itself, but people, relative clauses in Malagasy hurt my brain. This video was made with a headache. So real quick, for those who don't know the lingo, you can skip ahead if you know this already. A relative clause in English is using a phrase that usually starts with a WH word or that in order to combine two simpler sentences or add information to an existing noun. So he has a dog. The dog is brown. He has a dog that is brown. That is brown here is the relative clause. This is the same in French. Il a un chien, le chien est brun, il a un chien qui est brun. Also, there are two different locations, categories, functions, forms, I don't know, where relative clauses can appear. That is, they either add information to the object or the subject. I met a man. The man is nice. I met a man who is nice. Who refers to the man, so who is the subject of the verb is. That makes this a subject relative clause. The man is nice. I met him. The man whom I met is nice. Whom refers to him, which is an object. That makes this an object relative clause. Discerning between the two is important in the future, and how I like to teach my ESL students to see it more clearly is to say that if a verb follows the relative pronoun, it is a subject relative clause, and if a new subject does, it's an object relative clause. While this is pretty rudimentary grammar for those of us who speak English or French and don't have to think about it, or really almost any PIE language, it is not true for Austronesian languages. In Malagasy, subject relative clauses are possible, but object relative clauses are not. I'm going to lean heavily on Keenan and Ochs' article here because it's the only way I was able to grasp it. It's linked in the description. Taking the phrase, the woman washed the clothes, there are two nouns that we may want to talk about later. The woman, which is the subject, and the clothes, which is the object. Remembering that Malagasy is a verb-object-subject language, so the verb will come first here. This same sentence is, and please excuse the pronunciation, Nanasanelamba nivehavavi. Literally, this is washed the clothes, the woman. If we want to refer to the woman using a relative clause, in English it's the woman who washed the clothes. We simply keep the woman at the front of the phrase and add the relative pronoun. The woman is the subject and she is still washing the clothes. No problem here. In Malagasy, ni vehivavi izeninaseniilamba. We insert the relative pronoun and front the topic noun. Actually, in this form, it feels more like English or French word order. So far, so good, right? But next is where it gets a little complicated. See, the problem is if we want to refer to the clothes, the object of the original sentence, this easy movement and insertion of the relative pronoun doesn't work. By moving the object to the front of the phrase, we get the clothes that washed the woman. While technically this is grammatically correct, this sentence is comical. How do clothes wash a woman? In English, it's an easy fix. We switch the woman and washed, and the result works, the clothes that the woman washed. But it's not so simple in Malagasy. The way Malagasy operates is to change the verb to passive for object relative clauses, which results in English what would be the clothes that were washed by the woman. This sentence, you'll note, is a subject, not an object relative clause, because of the verb after that. I hope my viewership didn't just plummet and that you're all still with me. Grammar is complicated, but I promise it's going to get interesting. Since English, French, and Malagasy seem to be comfortable with the same subject relative clause construction, the Creole we're creating changes only on the level of vocabulary. The woman who washed the clothes is a one-for-one translation to become favi kavela velambe. For those who noticed, yes, I realize I may need to reevaluate the use of articles in a future video. Now we need to solve our object relative clause problem, but it's easy thanks to the last video I did. Since Malagasy speakers reevaluate object relative clauses into subject relative clauses using the passive, we can use the passive too. Just insert the passive construction from my previous video for the object relative clause. The clothes that the woman washed is lambe kasafe velave pafavi, which is technically the clothes that were washed by the woman. Thanks for watching. I hope you're still here. Please like, subscribe, come back, I pray. My question for you this week, what constructions are a particular challenge for you to form in your conlang? Or what constructions have you been avoiding completely because they're just too daunting? Thanks for coming, everybody. Like, subscribe. See you next time.